Hey guys, Austin Malleolo here in the Hand Plan Studio breaking down the squat. Now, we're not going to talk about how to teach the squat that much. What we're going to talk about here are ways to fix the squat when we're struggling with an athlete. This is when we're coaching in a class, we're in that instructional phase, or maybe even in a workout, and our cueing or corrections aren't that effective. Sometimes we're beyond our scope. Sometimes we just might be out of bullets. So here are some things that we can leverage to help make our lives easier, but also our athletes' lives a little easier. But let's have a quick little review. When we squat down, we have some points of performance that we want to make sure we cover, therefore look for and try to correct. And that's what a lot of the tools around me are going to be doing to help us achieve those points of performance. We squat down, butt goes back, knee goes out, hip crease goes below parallel, and that lumbar curve is locked in. Now from profile, hip goes back and down, finishing with the weight in the heels, knees tracking the toes, chest up nice and hard. And again, standing up. So when we teach this, we kind of have a plan. Think about heels, knees, depth, arch. Weight in the heels, right? Knees tracking the toes, check. Depth below parallel, check. From there, arch, that lumbar curve locked in, and then standing. And that line of action, hips traveling back and down, helping maintain that entire time. Lifting the arms up throughout the descent to pull the chest away from the ground. These are some teaching points we'll pull on, and then from there, points of performance we look for, and if they are missing, it's a fault. That's what we want to dive into. So, oftentimes we see athletes with a few very common errors, and one of the most common errors we're going to see is an athlete tilting forward when they squat, like this, therefore struggling to get depth, or that lumbar curve, okay? Squat therapy is a very common tool, but let's talk about how to use it. We just need some type of object. I'll use a medicine ball, also an object that could be raised and lowered would ideal, maybe put it on a plate so I can start higher and go lower. We start maybe a foot or so off of the wall. We set up as the ball with a target, arms up. They are off the wall, but inside the width of the feet. I squat down, I tap the ball for depth, and I stand on up. The purpose of this drill, one, is to give you a target for depth. Two, you cannot touch the wall, which pulls your chest away from the wall. As we get more proficient, we want to make sure we get the target to be just below parallel and we get closer and closer. This is going to help many of the points of performance, but at the very least, it gives us awareness. A good tool here is think about give your athletes 3 sets of 10, and every set of 10 move your athletes a little closer and closer. And this will help you avoid that knee initiation. So as opposed to here, we want to send the butt back towards the target, keeping the eyes forward, hands inside the width of the feet, but off the wall, tapping the target, and then standing up. That's going to be squat therapy. Now, another tool that we can use is simply a counterbalance. Counterbalance, holding out a plate in front of you. From here, you're just going to grab a 10-pound plate like I have here. You're going to hold out in front like it's like a steering wheel, and you're going to look right through the middle of the plate, and you're going to squat down, allowing you to keep that torso really vertical. It's simply a counterbalance, and standing. Okay. That's a great tool for athletes that are struggling staying back on their heels, that might be losing their balance. Also, they can resist it, which will help them pull their chest up if they're losing lumbar curve or have that immature squat. Another tool that we can use for our athletes maybe struggling with that knee initiation, where the knees might be coming forward a little bit, some awareness with the bench. From here, what we do with the bench is we set up maybe about half of your foot underneath the bench. So again, you can see about 6 inches from where my knees are. Now, from this position, I'm simply going to squat down. As I squat down, my goal is to send my butt back so my knees don't hit the bench. And stand on up, you move a little closer, it gets a little harder, okay? And stand. Really fun tool because one, you can walk your feet under and under it, make it a little more challenging. Don't get too crazy with it. Again, start with about half your foot, if not more, maybe right by your toenails under the bench, making sure the knees don't come too far forward. If they do, it's a piece of tactile feedback for your athletes to get right away. Now, plates, put them on the floor. What this will do is act as an opportunity to raise your heels. This is for athletes that are really maybe struggling at the bottom of their squat, struggling with that torso position from an immature squat. From here, as I squat down, I can keep the heels down and my knees can travel forward a little bit more and keeping that torso upright. So again, it's going to help loosen up the athletes, pull them through that full range of motion, and keep some squat mechanics locked in. Understand that Certainly anytime that we step on something or we hold something, this is going to be more therapeutic in nature. What we mean by that is we don't want to do it all the time. We don't want it to become a crutch, but it's a great way to sort of have the aha moments, warm athletes up, get them used to those good positions, and then slowly progress them down lower and lower, lighter and lighter, and as they go throughout the workouts, maybe switching back and forth between no tools and some tools. These are just some options to help you better refine the squat. Just because it's a simple movement doesn't mean we don't want to teach, see, and correct it. We want to be virtuous, do these common movements uncommonly well on the hand plan. So work hard and have fun.